everybody. Welcome back to Game and Laugh. My name is Vafa. I'm here with my friend Vince.
What's up?
And given that this is April 2020 and it is the month of the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PS4, so we've kind of decided to make this an unofficial Final Fantasy month. So we're playing through a bunch of different old school Final Fantasy games in preparation for playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. So today we're going to be going through Final Fantasy VIII Remastered and a bit of Final Fantasy IX later. Last session we showed you guys the original Final Fantasy VII and about 15-20 minutes of the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. So this game, Final Fantasy VIII, was released in, I believe, 1999, 98 or 99, and while the Final Fantasy series is well known for classic RPG story elements, Final Fantasy VIII was a bit of an outlier in that regard, in that it told a story of a bit more technological advance. So the characters in this game have some high-tech skills at their disposal. They start out in a place called Balam Garden, which is actually a big school, sort of, and it's highly technologically advanced. When you play through the game, you see that it doesn't have the medieval feel that some of the original Final Fantasy games did, where you'd be like a knight in a castle or something like that. Instead, it takes place on a brand new continent where the characters travel on behalf of the garden they work for, carrying out missions. And it has a pretty strong fan base. While 7 is very well known to be one of the most popular Final Fantasy games ever made, 8 also has a very strong backing of players that love the story and love the gameplay. This is another game that is very close to me in my childhood because it's one of the 2 Final Fantasy games that I played first. So first was 7, and then was this one, 8. The cast of characters are very, very easy to remember. They're all quite interesting and have their own quirks. And I just think the ensemble cast works really well together. The soundtrack is very pleasant to listen to by composer Nobuo Uematsu, who returns from scoring Final Fantasy VII to score 8 as well. The gameplay style is actually kind of different in this game because whereas 7 had a materia system for magic and summon spells, 8 has a completely different setup in terms of something they call GFs, or Guardian Forces, which are essentially the same summons from 7, some of the same summons, but they have a more extensive number of them, and you can actually pair individual Guardian Forces to different characters in the game. You can also do something called junctioning. Junction is a new type of gameplay in the game where you junction magic to different weapons and armor to enhance your skills, and so that kind of replaces the materia system from 7. To be honest, I haven't even fully learned the junction system. I'm playing through Final Fantasy VIII Remastered right now on my Nintendo Switch, and there's just so much to learn. There's different attack and defense capabilities that you can junction to different weapons and armor, which gives you those skills perhaps in your weapon, or it can protect against those skills in your armor. But that's the opening cutscene, as we see Squall and his rival Cypher battling, and a number of other characters. So we're going right into the very beginning of the game here, where you start in the infirmary.
Alright guys, welcome back to Game and Laugh. Now, as you heard with Vafa in the introduction, this is Final Fantasy VIII. This is actually also one of my favorite games, and it's probably the first Final Fantasy game I finished since I ruined Final Fantasy VII for myself. We just woke up after getting smashed by Cypher, so we're in the infirmary now, as Vafa said earlier, and we're gonna get right into it. So what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna have about 10 minutes of gameplay that we're gonna show. We're running a little segment called 10 minutes of, and this is 10 minutes of Final Fantasy VIII minus the introduction. So we'll go through it, see what we can get with 10 minutes of gameplay, and go from there. So I'll just go ahead and just say my forehead hurts.
Not bad. Got hit pretty hard.
Dr. Kadowaki.
Dr. Kadowaki is the school doctor.
Oh, okay. It's like your eyes are focusing. You know, there was a really funny meme about this VAF where Quistis, his teacher, looks at him and says, "You're the most handsome guy in this whole school." But it was like crappy PS1 graphics. It was like this blocky, weird-looking face.
Just a pixelated face.
Yeah. Although
it's easy to take the graphics we have today for granted. This is how things looked just 15, 20 years ago.
Well, you can kind of see, like, with Dr. Kawadaki, she's kind of blocky herself. Like, they actually made a better effort in smoothing out Squall. Although her face is pretty clean. But you can tell if you just look at Squall, there seems to be more of a polygon count in his clothes compared to her.
I have to say, as somebody who played this on PS1, one thing that stands out immediately to me is they've updated the font. So if you play the original, you'll see that the font is very grainy. Think like a YouTube video in the worst possible quality when your internet is terrible. that kind of looks like it's being filmed with a potato quality. And in the remaster, you can see that the text is very crisp and easy to read.
Yeah, I mean, this is really nice, man. I have to admit, like, the detail in his face is just so much better. Like, this is what Squall should have looked like back in the day. Quistis.
And there's your girl, Quistis. The youngest instructor at the academy.
I found it really awkward how she's a teacher in school. She's like going up to a student saying you're the most handsome guy in the school. Like, it was a bit...
She looks like a young Daryl Hannah.
Alright. So let's get up. I think the frame rate kind of increased as well, which probably explains the jittering every time the characters move. So I think they tried to smooth it out as much as possible. But...
And Vince hasn't mentioned this yet, but like Final Fantasy VII, the original on Nintendo Switch, Final Fantasy VIII also benefits from the game boosters. If you're somebody that doesn't have necessarily the 50 plus hours to put into this game, you do have a few quality of life options. One is the 3x speed mode, which allows you to play the game at, you guessed it, 3 times the normal speed, which is nice when you're grinding and you just want to get through the battles quickly. The interesting thing I noted is when I play on 3x speed, the music still plays at the same speed, so you don't feel like you're fast-forwarding a VCR, which is good, so it still feels like you're playing a normal game. But I have noted that when you're battling at 3x speed and quickly, like, just selecting commands to finish the battle, sometimes the sound kind of glitches out in the sense that I feel like the game hasn't quite figured out how to make all the different sound effects happen as fast as they need to, because the game is going at 3x speed. So sometimes I'll finish a battle and you'll still hear like one of the characters' guns rattling off, like when you're already at the experience menu. So, but it's still a really good option to have. The second game booster is power up mode. I don't know if that's the official name, but power up mode essentially means that you always have your limit special available to you, and generally your characters don't take any damage.
I didn't know that.
Which is nice. So if you're worried about losing a battle, you just turn on,
that's really cool,
man. And you're set. And then the third booster is no encounters. So everybody knows in an RPG, you're trying to get somewhere, and of course you keep getting suckered into battles. Well, you just turn this on, and you won't. Other than mandatory story battles in the game, you'll skip all the optional battles, like in the overworld and stuff like that.
Alright, I'm gonna skip talking to everyone, maybe except for Quistis. I kind of want to get into the battle already. So hopefully... Oh man, alright, she wants me to talk to her.
You can't skip out on Quistis. So for those of you who haven't played this game before, I'll give you a quick overview of what we're doing. That other guy you saw in the opening cutscene of this game, his name's Cypher Almasy. He's also a fellow student at Balam Garden. As you probably already figured out, him and Squall are not kindred spirits, and they were in training together where Cypher injured Squall, and Squall is preparing for something called his CD exam. CDs are basically like the elite military force of Balam Garden, and he has his certification exam coming up in a few days. But before he can take the exam, he needs to go to the cavern to complete a mission, and he needs to go with his instructor, which is Quistis Treepy.
So how do you pronounce it? Is it CD? I always thought it was seed.
I think it's CD. My best friend and I always pronounce it CD, only because they capitalized the D. which makes me think that it's CD.
Okay, fair enough.
But anyway, yeah, you're gonna, before you can take the CD exam, you have to complete this mission. So that's the first thing you do in this game. You are going with Quistis to complete the mission, and the mission is actually in, not really a spoiler because we're literally headed there right now, Ifrit's Cavern. So you're going to this extremely swelteringly hot fire cavern featuring, guess who? Ifrit. And you have to fight him and defeat him to be eligible to take the CD exam. So here we go.
Oh, come on. Yeah, but it looks like they're going to go through the whole tutorial thing. If I can just skip it, that'll be great.
Yes. Well, you shouldn't have offered Selfie the tour.
Oh, is that what it was? I had no idea. Yep. Oh, damn, man. Okay, sorry, guys.
That's okay, Vince. It's not a big deal because this way some of the viewers get to see a bit of the garden, although not really because Vince is pretty much skipping through the entire...
No, I mean, there's no point. I'm not going to go through this whole process.
The viewers can put this back at half, like 25% of the normal
If this is going to be 10 minutes of gameplay, this is going to be 10 minutes of looking at the screen. 10 minutes of tutorials. You know, what I love about the new Final Fantasy games is that tutorials are very practical, they're hands-on, you know, so the battle system, when they were introducing it in Final Fantasy 15, was a lot more hands-on. Same goes with 13, if anybody's ever keen on playing that. We probably will have a playthrough for Final Fantasy 13. All three.
I really enjoyed 13. Finished it on PS3.
Yeah, I never got the chance to actually play through it thoroughly, but the Xbox...
It's a long game.
Well, look, the Xbox One X version is actually a done-up version of 13. It's like a HD version.
Oh, really?
So they've pretty much remastered it on the Xbox One, but it's a backwards compatible game that's been remastered, so it's a free upgrade. If anyone's keen to play 13, I would suggest Xbox One X is the best place to play it.
Yeah, and let us know in the comments if there's a specific game you guys want to see or a specific version of one game. We're really fortunate that Vince has a massive library of consoles and games, so if there's something you want to see, it's very likely we have it.
They've also got a large collection of fighting games, so maybe we'll get into that at some point too. I just bought Grand Blue Fantasy on the PS4. Okay, dude, what do I do here?
You have to use a different turnstile. Use the furthest one.
Okay.
Literally the only one you didn't use.
What I love about Vath is that he knows Final Fantasy so well, because he's played these games so many times.
Just this one, and 7.
Oh, this one and 7. How about 9?
9 I've finished. I beat it last year for the first time. It was another one of those games that since childhood I played like maybe the first 30 minutes of it, and I was really intrigued, and, you know, my entire life I never really got to play it. One time in college, my friend had it. We started it on his PS1 in his dorm. We got like an hour into it, and then, you know, I went home. Yeah, that was like 12 years ago. Never really got another chance till last year when I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to play it. I'm going to finish it. So then, yeah, I did. It's a good game. 9 is very different to 8, though, because 9 takes the franchise back to its roots. More of a medieval setting. You see a lot of classic elements in gameplay from the originals make a return. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 9 actually allows you to have 4 players in your party again.
Sorry guys, it looks like we're still going on with the whole...
Yeah, so junctioning is important to learn, Vince. So this teaches you how you junction magic and guardian forces to each character.
I'll probably
right now you don't have too many options, but those little dotted lines near the bottom, those will be different areas that you can junction magic to, or GFs to, and then they will correspondingly raise your stats in those areas.
Oh, come on, yeah, but I just want to get into the game already. Dude, come on.
You have to invest the proper time to learn what you're playing.
So again, this is PS1 era gaming, where the tutorials are very just strict and they're not really interactive. It kind of, to me, look, these kinds of things take away from the game, but at least they're doing it so early on. There are some Square Enix games that have tutorials that run for like 6 hours. I forgot what game it was. There was a game that they released that had tutorials that ran for like 6 to 12 hours. It continually held your hand, and everyone complained about it. But it was a Square Enix game from the 360 era. I forgot which one it was. And everyone was just really upset about how long it took. I think it was Blue... No, it was like Blue Dragon's on Square. come on, dude. Seriously.
Vince, this might be a good time to turn on 3 times mode.
I don't know how to turn it on, man.
Well, you have to click in the left joystick.
Oh, there you go. Hold on. Yes, everything's great. Let's go, Quistis. Let's fight. Remember what I said about 10 minutes? I don't think that's gonna happen today.
Yeah, that's okay.
We'll do it with the other Final Fantasies. This might go a little bit longer, so bear with us. Only because there was just so many tutorials.
One of the benefits of watching a video is you can always fast forward.
Yeah.
So getting to the fire cavern is pretty straightforward.
You can totally see the PS1 era graphics in this, you know?
Actually, no, Vince, turn around. Sorry, you're going the wrong way. That's the town of Balam. You actually have to go the opposite way. My apologies, I misspoke.
Alright. Well, we gotta fight battle. We gotta battle.
It's on the corner. That's fine. We'll show the viewers a little gameplay here.
Transfer first strike. Let's do it.
So Final Fantasy VIII has timed hits, which means if you press the button at the right time when you attack, you will do extra damage. I'll be honest, I still struggle to figure out the right time. The game doesn't give you any obvious
Can I just ask, is it only for Squall or is it for Quistis as well?
It's for every character.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The only problem is the animation doesn't really make it easy to tell.
I think I should.
And Vince, maybe you want to show the viewers what power boosted mode looks like. So to do that, you just have to click in right joystick. There you go. Now, if you push right on the left joystick, you can choose your special.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, that's it.
You gotta hold it, guys.
You gotta hold it, yeah. And Renzo Kuken, you just hold R bumper to do the attack.
So isn't this cheating in a way?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's a cheat that's officially endorsed by Square. I think they realize that this game is, 20 years old and they're not worried about people going through it quickly. And Vince, if you press left and right joystick together at the same time, you'll see no encounter mode.
Ah, okay.
So click them both together.
Well, we'll skip that because it's good to grind a little bit before we get to the cave.
Okay.
This is the cave you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So we'll just take on this encounter really quickly. I want to try and master the whole gunblade thing, man.
Yeah, so if you use Renzo Kuken, you'll have to time your attack.
How do I know if the gun's actually gone off? Is there like another... Is there like a bullet that you can hear getting shot, or...?
Oh, when you get the timed hit, you hear like a louder crack that lets you know you pulled it off. You also do more damage.
Anyway, hopefully that worked.
Nice job.
Alright, let's go, guys. We're about to enter the Cave of Wonders. Look at the PS1 graphics, man. So weird. You know, I have to admit, oh, come on, man, really? Every time I
You didn't think you could skip another tutorial, did you?
No, they didn't give me an option, man. I just launched right into it.
No, I know. I was teasing you. I was like, you don't think you could actually skip it, do you?
Oh, fair enough. Hey, dude, every time I see the word GF, it always makes me think girlfriend. So it's like, hey, your girlfriend. Take your girlfriend with you and take on these creatures.
Yeah.
So I don't think she'll be into that.
Yeah, I think Square preempted the fact that they assumed a lot of single guys would be playing this game.
Yeah, seriously. One by one. Come on, dude, please. Please. Just, yes, auto is fine. Oh my god.
So you can see Vince here is putting in a lot of attention to detail to show you, the viewers, how to junction magic properly.
Oh my god, man.
So if you start stuffing up and dying left and right,
please. Oh,
our friend Vince here.
I already know.
Yeah, dear God, just tell him you know it. Now, Vince, the guards here are going to ask you to choose a time limit for defeating Ifrit. My advice, choose the lowest one. It will not take you that long. And the time limit is only until you beat him. It doesn't count for on the way back out.
choose the time of it. Alright, so the lowest one, 40 minutes or 10 minutes?
10.
Sorry, I thought you meant lowest one as in lowest in the list.
Sorry, apologies. I meant the shortest one.
Yeah, that's fine.
This will make a difference in your CD ranking as well eventually. We're not going to get to that point today, but...
Well, I'm just going to limit break every single character I bump into. So.
And Vince, if you're worried about the time running out, now wouldn't be a bad time to turn on the no encounters mode.
Alright.
Because you're going to fight Ifrit in a minute anyway.
No encounters, dude.
They did a really good job of making this cave look hot. When I look at this, it just reminds me of flaming Cheetos. I don't know how popular they are here in Australia, but back in the US, flaming Cheetos are all the rage.
They came in a couple of months ago, actually, so...
I've had them here, I just don't think they're as popular.
They don't look as nice. Oh, dude, what's this purple thing? What's a draw point?
That's a draw point, so essentially, think of it as like a place that allows you to draw some magic. It allows you to stock some free magic.
We don't need it because we don't have any magic? Is that why, or...? Because every time I go up to it, it says there's nothing to draw. Oh, dude, I miss this music, by the way. I used to listen to it all the time.
The music is very nostalgic. I have the soundtrack myself.
Alright, let's get into it.
And look at that. In just 1 minute, we have already reached Ifrit.
You seem confident enough. Yes, I am. Quistis. Haven't I got Ifrit in my GF already, or no? Because I thought I saw him in the tutorial.
Well, he's not your GF yet. There is another one. You have Quetzalcoatl currently.
Alright, let's send my girlfriend out to fight these guys.
Good luck, Vince.
Blue magic laser.
Now, you're using the powered up mode, so you should be fine. Yeah, use Renzo Kukin. And when Renzo Kukin happens, Vince, you're going to see a little line moving across your screen. Press R bumper when it's in the little box. Get ready. Okay, I think you missed all of them. Wow. It's really embarrassing. Yeah, we got that on film.
Laser eye, dude. Laser eye.
Thankfully, you don't have to press any buttons for that one.
Alright, let's Renzo Kukin this guy up. Come on, Renzo Kukin.
Good luck. Remember the first little box that shows up. R bumper, Vince. R bumper, not R trigger.
Oh, that's why. That's why none of my... Okay, look, dude. I'm going to do a regular attack just so I can see if I can get my gun to work.
Fair, I did say R bumper.
Renzo Kukin.
Good luck.
I'm excited, man. This is it. This is it. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Go nuts. How do I know it
Still
works?
missed.
Dude, I was tapping it at the right time. This is ridiculous,
R bumper?
man. Yeah, R bumper.
That's weird.
Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. Come on. I'm tired of you, Ifrit.
Come on, you can get one.
Time to lose, Ifrit.
Oh, no need.
No! I want a Renzo Kukin! No! No, that is not fair.
Despite your crappy Renzo Kukin skill,
Oh my gosh.
managed to convince Ifrit to join you.
Oh no.
And you got Ifrit's card, which is really good. For those of you who are into Triple Triad, that is a very good card to have early in the game.
There isn't much time, but this quick. Good on you for getting it.
Actually, now you got plenty of time
So
because the timer's
She's
gone.
like, good on you for getting a girlfriend.
So you can use the Elemental Junction ability.
What is that supposed to be?
Vince, guess what? Here comes another favorite segment of yours,
Oh, come
tutorial.
on, man. Seriously?
I think many viewers will understand that when you're starting a very long, complex JRPG,
It is not
you're
that
going to have
complex,
a few,
man.
few tutorials at the
I
beginning.
played this when I was
to
like
explain to you
13
what you're
years
doing.
old. On PC, of all things. And loading it on a PC back then was difficult. You had to enable all these drivers on my Voodoo 2. Come on, dude. Alright. Oh my god. Oh. There's been about 5 minutes of just tutorials, man.
That's okay. Every game is different, and so the viewers are getting a look at what Final Fantasy VIII looks like when you start it.
Well, guys, that was probably the first boss fight for Final Fantasy VIII, as you guys saw. As you guys also saw on the Nintendo Switch, thanks to the boosters, it just makes it a lot easier if you turn on some of the features. It's fun, you know. It brings back a lot of memories. I would have thought they would put a little bit more detail on the map overworld, but it's okay. It's still something you can deal with. The story in the game is just phenomenal, you know. Like it's one of those stories that'll probably accompany for quite a while. It's not as good as Final Fantasy VII's story, but it's still a great story in my opinion. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys. I'll let it be. I'm gonna go back. Vath, is this that thing where you end up fighting that giant robot as well? Is it here or is it later on?
Oh, that's a bit further in the game.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, since you asked, I'll tell you that will actually be part of the CD exam. You'll be traveling to a place I believe called Dalit Town, where there is a battle happening, and your characters, your classmates essentially, are taking place in a real life battle. It's not a mock battle, but you're under supervision, and essentially that is the exam. And yes, the metal spider-like robot thingy that you're thinking of also makes an appearance.
Yeah, I just find it so like. There you go. Okay.
You know, as nerdy as this might sound to say, like, this music is very relaxing. Like, I have it on my iPhone, and sometimes when I'm going for a walk or something, like, maybe sometimes you want to listen to smooth jazz, or you want to listen to some rock, or, you know, classical music or whatever, but sometimes I just want to listen to the Final Fantasy soundtrack, and it's just really pleasant to listen to as you walk down the street on a nice day.
Alright guys, so look, we might leave it here. We can always come back and play Final Fantasy VIII some more down the line. That was the first 10 to 15 minutes of Final Fantasy VIII, as you guys saw, so a lot of it was cluttered with tutorials, but as the game progresses, it actually gets a little more intense. This story is a little more emotional than Final Fantasy VII's, and it is a love story, actually, more so than Final Fantasy VII is. And here's Squall's handsome face. Oh, went out too far there. What we'll do, guys, what we'll do is we'll touch base with you guys again with Final Fantasy IX and start playing that, which will probably be more of a different experience for Vath and I, since we don't know it as well as we know Final Fantasy VII and VIII. So Vath, is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, look, it's obviously when we played 7 last week, 7's one of those games that throws you into a big action sequence right from the very beginning of the game. 8's a little bit different. It's a different game and it has a slightly slower start. And it takes a little bit of time for momentum to develop, but they're different games and different stories, and they're both good. As someone who's beaten 7 and someone who's halfway through 8, I can tell you they're both good games. And 9 will also be a different experience. I think they both have very emotional stories, but just different, you know, apples and oranges, and I think they're both really great. And if you're into classic JRPG games, definitely check this one out.
Okay, so guys, we'll catch you again next time. Have a good night.
See ya.